So welcome everybody. I am delighted to introduce my friend Nasser Jabir, who will introduce Alex Hernandez, our chefs for today, who are going to make, who are going to instruct you on how to make this brilliant Palestinian slash Latinx dish. Nasser is a dear friend of mine. He founded the Migrant Kitchen, and which, if you haven't, if you don't know about it, you need to Google it and find out about this incredible enterprise. Nasser, among many other things that he's done with Migrant Kitchen, recently was at the Feed Your Polls, and I believe was played a big role in flipping some of those swing states or inducing them in some way. So there's a long story behind that, but he's brilliant. He's a good friend. He's a wonderful human. And I just got to meet Alex recently. His story is extraordinary. And I'm delighted to meet him. And I'll let Nasser tell you a little bit more about that and tell you more about the brilliant dish that they're going to make for you. So I'm going to go off camera and I'll let you guys take it from here.
Thank you, Susan. It's truly an honor that one of my favorite writers introduces me. This is a dream come true for me. Thank you so much for this. Allow me to introduce to my brother, Chef Alex Hernandez. Alex Hernandez used to be the chef that I worked under at Ilili. He is from El Salvador. He is obsessed with Middle Eastern cuisine, and he's definitely, on our side of history with Palestine and all things related. And he is one of our disaster relief chefs. The Migrant Kitchen, at the core of it, is a disaster relief operator that works in New York, Los Angeles, Jerusalem, and Beirut. We have fed over 2 million people in the United States and hundreds of thousands between Palestine and Lebanon. Chef Alex here has led the New York kitchen, and today he made for you his take on mahshi, which is done in kusa, eggplant, and grape leaves. Done Latino style. So Dawood, if you can roll the video, and then we'll have a chat about the dish, the ingredients, and Chef Alex's journey.
Hola, mi nombre es Alex Hernández, yo soy de El Salvador. Este día, inspirado en la cocina de Palestina, voy a cocinar Pastelon Mashi. Yo sé que ustedes aman kusa y regularmente se hace con carne, pero ahora lo vamos a hacer con esta fruta que se llama fruta pan. Espero yo que ustedes disfruten en sus casas. As they say in Palestine, satin.
As I want to say, really, like in our restaurant, the dish is made with hashwi, with meat. But in order to honor Susan and her vegan take on the world, we did it with jackfruit. So we will give you both the vegan and the non-vegan option. Thank you, Chef, for all of this.
Thank you for inviting us to enjoy this festival, Palestine. I'm so glad to stay here with you, Nasser, and with all those people that watching us. And I hope you are enjoy the video and make the Palestine.
Puede hablar en español.
No. You can make Pastelon Mashi at home by jackfruit. We make like in Spanish fruta pan. It's a jackfruit for you guys, and I hope you make this dish. Is really good, and they make moussaka.
Moussaka, yeah. So tell me how. First of all, I want to get into how you learned how to cook. What brought you here? I mean, I know that you have an incredible story, which I want to share with everybody. But tell me more, like, how did you get into Palestinian food and Lebanese food and Syrian food? What made you do it?
So first of all, I was working at a Mexican restaurant, and at that time it was hard for me. I started like asking at restaurant to restaurant, touch the door. Hey, do you have a job for me? They say no, I don't. And then I asked for the dishwasher position, and I never had one. And then the chef told me, I just have a line cook, and I start as a line cook that night.
So you walked in without knowing what's going on, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. It was really busy Saturday night at the Mexican restaurant, and they say a lot of the 15 tacos, 20 tacos there. Oh my God, what is going on? And the chef is screaming, let's go.
I do have to tell you that like this is a very typical chef story that like you just throw into something and it's just a disaster and it's a shit show and you roll with it. And I guess that's
true. That without school, without anything.
So okay, you started the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, and that chef teach me how I have to work hard and how I can do anything and I want. And then he promoted me, and it's why I went to the other Lebanese restaurant and I started there working and learn. And then I love the food. I love the flavor, a lot of spices, a lot of the menu for the Middle East is bigger, and then I love that. And
so, how was it the first time when you tried sumac and za'atar? What was in your head?
I just don't know that at the beginning. I say, what is that? Because it tastes like it's salt and acid, and then how this happened, that make me my mouth enjoy the flavor. And then I make my drink. Maybe one day I can do this better and better and better. And it is why I start to love this food. And I think I know more than Middle Eastern food than my food from Latin American or from my country. I know better Middle Eastern food.
So tell me about El Salvador. How did you, I mean, again, like Palestinians, this is a festival of culture, of writing, of reclaiming, and Latin Americans have been going through the same thing now with the vilification of this administration. So I want to know more about your experiences in El Salvador. How did you get here as an immigrant? What happened to you? And although I know a little bit of that story, I want the audience to know like what resilience looks like and if you can share with us.
Yeah, my country is really dangerous. Maybe my country was the third the dangerous ones. And then I decided to came to USA, but I have to do it by illegal. I crossed the board like 11 million people here in this
on country. A coyote, basically. Yes. A coyote riding there. Yeah.
And then I took 2 months to get here. I was in jail. It's not in jail. It's how do you explain
the detention?
The detention center for immigration who was catch at when I crossed the board illegally, and then I was there 1 month. Was horrible, but you know, I have to do it, and it's why I apply for asylum in this country, and then I get it, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, truly like a courageous story to walk and get here in 2 months. And I know at one point we both experienced homelessness. I was homeless a year ago. You were in Bryant Park sleeping, something that I actually know very well about. But we all found food as a way for us to exit poverty and to build something. Do you think the kitchen life is a life worth pursuing, or is it just something that fell upon us and that's what we have to do?
No, no, no. I think we are enjoying whatever we're doing at the kitchen. We love this job, and then we love to help people, and we love how we involved in this job. It's not just a job. It's not just the payday. It's because we love whatever we're doing at the kitchen. You know, it's that.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait one day to take you to my village in Termosaya. And I know there's a lot of good-looking Palestinian men out there that would love to date a Latino guy. So I know Chef Alex is single and is looking. So if we know a nice Arab guy, let's do that. And Susan, I don't know if you have any questions, and would you like to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Alex, your story is incredible. And yes, I mean, I would definitely call it a jail. It's, you know, it's detention, jail. It's putting people behind bars because, you know, because they're brown or black. So it's jail. So I want to so can you tell me, I want to ask you about your experience with Migrant Kitchen, like with what it's been like to work. I mean, did you know about Palestine before? Was your introduction to Palestine through Nasser, and are you learning Palestinian food?
I mean, I would like to answer that, but you want to jump in? Do you want to tell them how I drove you guys crazy at Ilili? So we all worked at Ilili, and I was the waiter and they were the cooks, and I would drive them crazy. I'm talking about Palestine, and whenever Zionists come in, I would refuse to serve them. And there was like this whole thing. So every day, like,
how would you know
yeah, so you want to tell her?
Yeah, but every day he show up, hey guys, hey Nasser, you know what? We are busy. Can you go down? Can you upstairs? And then he always talk about food and about maklube. He loved maklube, I know.
I was the number one maklube seller in the restaurant.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But I only sold that dish not because it was good. I mean, Chef Alex makes better maklube than the one at the restaurant, but it was like a national pride issue to sell this maklube, right? Like it was a way to talk about Palestine on every single table.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's part of our Palestinian card. But like, tell the truth. Are you making it vegan these days, or are you still?
No, we definitely make things vegan. No, honestly, like I only love vegans because I love you. If you asked me that question before I met you, like it would have been like some serious like knives coming out. It's do you like vegans?
Yeah. Some I like it. But you know, but we can do it better. I think we can do better this year with a vegan.
We are introducing a vegan plant-based kafta that we're going to introduce to supermarkets in the Middle East next week, actually in Dubai, and it's called Mu Kufta, and it's basically like Beyond and Impossible, made for the Middle Eastern kitchen. Chef Alex was testing yesterday kufta with chipotle made from that plant-based meat. So yes, it's a trend, it's going, and maybe one day I'll turn vegan. I don't know, I'll disappoint Anthony Bourdain and do it.
Well, you would make me proud.
Yeah, and that matters more,
Yeah, me or Anthony Bourdain.
Actually, today we make falafel without chickpeas. That was really, really delicious.
Without
so now I don't know how I feel about that. But
yeah. So what did you do instead of the chicken?
We did lentil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lentil and a black bean, and that was amazing.
Really? Oh, I have to taste.
Yeah. So we are opening a new location on Union Square in the next year. We're picking up a few locations, but one of those on Union Square, and they were hesitant about how our menu is, right? Because a lot of NYU kids and they can't pronounce some of the ingredients. So we make a fried msakhan dish So the مسخن itself, we breaded it with cassava, fried it, and made it into a مسخن, almost sandwich over a mini taboon. But I guess we decided to do it over a falafel waffle.
Nice.
So that's gonna be like a chicken and waffle, but Palestinian style.
My God, you're making me hungry. I'm sitting here and I'm starving right now.
I do have to say that, like, although I love the fact that more people have joined the Palestine Writers Festival online, because we definitely have more capacity online than we do in space, but we were supposed to cater the Palestine Writers Festival, and we did a tasting for Susan, and we were freaking out. Our head chef Dan, who has like 2 stars, came in and like did the food. We had a tasting. We talked about vegan chicken. We had to figure that out, and there was no vegan chicken. It was, and everybody was like freaking out, like, how are we going to satisfy Susan? And it was so we're here now.
But you guys, let me just say, when we did the tasting, it was spectacular. I mean, the food was just brilliant and so delicious, but they did this whole setup for us. They brought wine, and this is how it was going to be served at the festival. But inshallah, we'll have next year. And then of course, Migrant Kitchen is a huge deal now. I forgot to mention in the intro that Nasser actually went to Lebanon and served how many thousands of meals?
We are to date at 60,000. We did, so 60,000 meals. But we are pledging 1 million metric tons of food to Gaza in coordination with the State Department. This is a project that we have been working on for a year now, with some friends of ours at states who are, federal employees, but have to abide by what's going on. But now that this administration is exiting, a lot of things are changing heavily. And I'm very proud to say that 2.5 years worth of supply of food to Gaza will be coming in, courtesy of the Migrant Kitchen, as our biggest disaster relief operation that we will execute.
You've also served over a million meals in New York. Is that right?
2 million, yeah. 2 million
Wow,
people.
it's 2 million. It was like a million just a month ago.
I mean, we were doing 10,000 meals a day since March. So the numbers expedited heavily. So the latest numbers are like 2 point something. And it's intense, for a group of, we're 100, a total of 100 people, 12 people at the executive level. I guess the chefs, how many are you, like 6 or 7?
6.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of work, but I mean, we have master class chefs, that they can operate. I mean, he can break down an entire cow in like 45 minutes.
Okay. Oh, you didn't have to tell me that. Cow. Can you, but.
Oh, sorry. The vegans. Yeah. You can break an entire tree.
That doesn't make me happy. That doesn't make me happy to hear what you're doing. I don't want
no cow.
But actually, Nasser, can you tell, for people who don't know, a little bit about the background of the Migrant Kitchen story, where you were a year and a half, 2 years ago? And I mean, the story is stunning. And yeah, so I would like people to know.
Sure. So, I mean, it seemed like it's overnight success, but it's not. It was really 10 years of failure. 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and you can watch this actually on Eddie Wong's show on Vice. I owned a small restaurant that wanted to do Palestinian South American food. After leaving Ilili, I mean, I've been these guys for like 6 or 7 years. Now, Honorwa calls, Layla Mkhaber. I know there's a lot of people here from the DC area, Reem, and I was reading just the comments. She said there was a refugee that was unable to find a job. He was also, gay. So a lot of homophobia, unfortunately, in the community in Bay Ridge, in the older community, that didn't want to hire him. So anyways, we gave him a job, but we couldn't afford to pay him continuously because we were shutting down. The business was losing. So one of my best friends, Justin Levine, who is the writer of Moulin Rouge on Broadway, he just won a Tony, I think 2 months ago, told me that Americans love happy endings. So we decided to do this curated themed dinner where basically people pay money and the refugee tells a story through the cooked food that he cooked. But what we discovered is after the story is told, the refugee can make an ask: I need a job, I need a home. Eventually that scaled up into feeding 5,000 people. The project went worldwide and it became what we call right now gastro diplomacy. It was adopted by different governments as part of their policy tools to uplift refugee community, which gave us a lot of access, got us federally contracted, all that stuff. So it gave birth to a company called Comida, and Comida was great. It was like one of those companies that, did dining experiences that are socially impactful. And at one point, after launching at South by Southwest and being in vogue in the Times and everything else, that we were going to get acquired by Airbnb. but things, as they say in Arabic, I don't know if anybody here speaks Arabic, الرياح تمشي بما لا تشتهيه السفن, or winds don't go the way it sails the ships. We ended up being mismanaged, me and my co-founder, and we tanked, and that resulted in $100,000 debt, a loss of a relationship, a loss of a home, and I was left homeless. So at the brink, when I was in suicide watch, Dan, who was the head chef of Ilili, a good friend, and along with Alex, they came and got me. They took me to suicide watch, and they're like, let's start a catering company. Don't worry about, all the fancy schmancy stuff and the publication. Let's just go sell food and make a living and get you on your feet. Eventually, we got WeWork as a client, and we started doing 1,000 meals that we had by March 12th. The pandemic hits. So I started giving back to the shelter I stayed in. I gave back to the hospitals that, people, my friends called who were in the ER rooms. And then Ayman Muhyiddin happens to follow us on MSNBC. So we got on MSNBC, and then the trend of feeding the doctors became an international trend. Eventually, we got contracted with World Central Kitchen. Eventually, we outgrew World Central Kitchen, and we ended up becoming their competitor. So here we are today and changing the world one hummus plate at a time, right?
One hummus.
So there's a question here. It says, is there a website or somewhere we can learn more? I work for a humanitarian organization and would love to share the information with my colleagues for possible collaborations.
I want to give a shout out here to Yasmin Hamidi, who just texted what the website is. Yasmin has been an instrumental supporter, a friend, to the Migrant Kitchen and to myself. And it was her that got us New York One, which was an interesting story because that's when it was announced in Spanish that we have work for undocumented workers, and a line was formed on the block, and we were able to hire a lot of people. We had to make the road and get protection from ICE, but outside of that, that was a good story for us. So thank you, Yasmin. You're a hero as well.
So there's a comment here. It says, oh my God, would you consider Maryland, DC location? Let me just say, I got dibs on Philly first.
Yes, actually, I encourage everybody to go eat at the Green Zone. I did the food there. It's the Iraqi bar down in Adams Morgan. Chris, the owner, is a close friend. He's a big supporter. He's on the same page politically. Please go support his food, and definitely try Michael Afridi, the Palestinian. He's definitely the best Palestinian chef in the country today. He's up for a Michelin star, I believe. He owns Albi, which is a modern gastronomy look on Levant food, but he is Palestinian. And I cannot wait to cook for all of you. And 67 hungry people right now. I guess somebody's tech support. Okay, great. There you go.
They're in Ramallah, and it's super late for them right now. They've been staying up for to do the tech.
I have to say that I'm definitely going to change the culinary scene in Ramallah. I think the culinary scene in Ramallah is too Americanized and too Westernized. With all due respect to my friend John Saadi, who owns Jasmine Cafe. I love that guy, and Snow Bar, I guess, the hangout. But the idea is to differentiate differently on what looks on food. But the most important part about food accessibility. So Ramallah food is expensive for people to come out and eat. So some of the projects that we are working on now, although the kitchen has not been built, it's not cemented, we're very early stages, unlike the Gaza project, for example, or Lebanon, is that we would like to replicate the meal after school meal programs for poor kids. So a kitchen will be built in our hometown in Turmusaiya that will deliver meals in the same way that we do in Beirut for children, so they can eat for free. The idea is that if kids eat for free in school and parents can support or depend on the school to feed them, then they don't have to take them out of school to go beg on the street, right? The idea is that food security, when you don't have to worry about your meal, and that's a respectable meal 3 times a day for every person in the household, that little money that you make as a breadwinner can go to something else. And that's the idea of fighting on food insecurity. It's not just giving a food sandwich on Christmas or on Thanksgiving, yeah?
So our tech support team had a great idea that because I think a lot of people arrived late, maybe we should show the video again. It's only 2 minutes long. If folks in the chat would like that, just can you just give a yes in there from okay. So we're getting lots of yes. All right, go for it.
Oh, God.
Let's do that.
Hola, mi nombre es Alex Hernández, yo soy de El Salvador. Este día, inspirado en la cocina de Palestina, voy a cocinar Pastelon Mashi. Yo sé que ustedes aman kusa y regularmente se hace con carne, pero ahora lo vamos a hacer con esta fruta que se llama fruta pan. Espero yo que ustedes disfruten en sus casas. As they say in Palestine, satin.
I just want to say that the sahteen part is probably the best part of the video.
I know, it is. It is.
You know, that took like 2 hours of training. That was
Yes,
like,
yes.
so hilarious.
That was so hard. Let's say satin or satin? Satin. Okay, satin.
Satin.
Yeah,
So Alex,
so-
what other Palestinian foods are you cooking now?
We're trying to do again a lot of manouches,
Oh.
gymnasts. Yes, we're working on it, and it's coming soon at the menu and the Migrant Kitchen. And we have a lot of projects with the food. We're tasting food every day. I'm getting fat, and you're not invited.
No, but I do have to say that 2 years ago, we did a dinner for UNRWA, and we wanted to play with food in a very infusing kind of way, almost like El Bulli in Spain, in like molecular gastronomy, like see-through shish barak, things like that. And friends of ours, and you should definitely all buy this book, went with IBM and put every food known to man into Watson, the AI computer, and they came out with something called the flavor matrix. Now, this is a data-driven, artificial intelligence-driven way of looking at the RNA or the DNA of food and mixing it to see what works. So we all know that chicken and pomegranate go well together and chicken and garlic go well together, but we also know chicken and chocolate, like mole, go together, right? So it turns out that for chicken and apples and maqlube, it's better to be done with apples than with batinjan. So we did the maqlube bitufah or an apple-based maqlube, and it was a huge hit. We also did a steak rubbed in Yemeni coffee. That was the dry rub on the steak. That was delicious. And we did a potato disc, a see-through shish barak. That was great.
Maqlube, I would love to try that, an apple maqlube. I mean, my grandmother would probably, roll over in her grave, but it sounds really good to me.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, and this is something that come tomorrow. I'm so lucky I got on 2 panels on this festival. I have to say that I feel very special, right?
You are
But so tomorrow is going to be a panel about food and food sovereignty. And one of the things about the heroines on the panel, which I'm very honored to be amongst all those rock star women, they're all preserving our food, they're all preserving our culture. So Tatriz and Palestinian cuisine, they go hand in hand in preserving the identity that was left, right? So because we're reclaiming back property. And I'm very happy to tell everybody that Farm to People, an online grocer, will be carrying Palestinian Migrant Kitchen hummus on their shelf as of January. So we're reclaiming back from Sabra, right, to that. But our
Yeah.
point here is that even there's enough people preserving the cuisine and the history of the cuisine, Rawi Abshara, Judy Qalla,
Yeah, but
Vivian.
there's too many people stealing it.
Sure, but who thinks about the future of the cuisine? Why should the cuisine remain the same, right? So I feel like it is not my job to. I mean, of course, it is my job to protect the culture and the cuisine, but since there's so many people doing it, I'm thinking about the way of me taking it forward, right?
I love it.
How do we elevate the palate? I mean, Susan, you grew up in Dar al-Tifl, which is an organization that graduated resistance fighters in literature and poetry and things of the sort. But you're vegan. You didn't grow up vegan, right? So how do we take our Palestinian food on in a vegan kind of way, right? So it's not just falafel and hummus, right?
I love that. And on that note, I think we've run out of time. But Nasser, I'm so glad that you plugged that panel about food sovereignty, because it's going to be spectacular. For everybody watching, we have a few more programs left for today. There are so many amazing sessions throughout the rest of the festival. Please check out our program book. Mark your calendars. Lots to come, and we love you all. I love you guys. You're amazing.
We love you too.
Thank you for everything you're doing. Migrant Kitchen is probably my favorite project that's happening right now around us.
Thank you.
It honors us.
All right,
Thank
big love to you guys, and thank you everybody for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us. Right on.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.